You'll be okay.
You'll know because I really don't like things that fly. I'm like terrified. Like my my instinct was to run out of this room and never come back. Okay.
I hope you leave all of this in to the episode.
No, I have a reputation as like, well, I don't know what my reputation is. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum, and welcome back to another episode of Found Footage Fridays with my co-host, Tom Reimer.
Hey, everybody.
Talking, still working through some new found footage movies that came out in the end of 2022.
Yep. This is one that you heard of or found for us.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll give you credit for this. All the credit. All of it.
So today we are talking the 2022 Indian Malaysian found footage film. I'm going to probably butcher this, but it's Vazhiye, Vazhiye, which translates into The Trail. Other way, Tom.
Over there. Yeah.
This Close is you can watch this on Tubi right now, for free.
Yep.
It has a 3.5 out of 10 on IMDb, but a 55% on Google.
Oh, yeah.
This is an independent found footage horror film. Well, it's the very first found footage movie made there. Now, okay. Well, now I feel bad. Okay. So, yeah.
It is. Yeah, and it was clear in the opening sort of introduction. It was mentioned that the director or the writer or whoever was a huge fan, or he gives credit basically and
thank you for anyone who's ever made a found footage movie.
So clearly, like a super fan of found footage films. I'm assuming.
Shows.
Yeah. Yep. And and it was their attempt at a found footage film.
Yep. We want to do our ratings?
Go for it.
Me first?
You first. I know what mine is this time, and I've known what mine. Maybe I'll go first. How about I'll go first then? If
you're not ready. Go first this time.
Okay. I'm giving this film 2 tapes out of 10. 2 tapes out of 10. Shouldn't laugh. I think that's my lowest. I think it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little speechless. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You're just so much more like open-minded when we
Generous?
watch these than I am. No, like open-minded. Like you're just a lot more willing to like accept the good from these when we watch them, and I'm always on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Because I rated this higher than you did.
Whoa. Okay. See, this is why this discussion is healthy.
It's for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my rating for The Trail is I gave this a 4.
Interesting. This is this is not your worst rating.
No,
I don't think.
And so one of the reasons is I was confused about 98% of this movie, which has been our common theme with the last couple that we've done. But anyway,
and it may be for some going forward too.
Yeah. Yes. So okay. One of the things we talked about with Bad Ben, right, was this fact that like, even though that movie wasn't great, one of the reasons we both enjoyed it was because of the love and respect that it paid to the subgenre that we love so much.
Definitely.
And I do think that this did that. I think that this was a mix of a lot of found footage concepts. You've got the tents in the woods, you've got the YouTube stuff, you've got people found footage parts, you've got super. Yep. I mean, it's literally like a long list of things. There's a lot of things going on, right? And so it's got the use of the different technologies. Like, I mean, there's a couple different things. And so I think that going into it, I was like, okay, this is like a passion project for somebody because they obviously love the subgenre, right? And so I'm like, all right, well, that's great. So, and the other thing for me is, once again, this is like beating a dead horse. There are so many potentially cool concepts. Like, I really liked, well, we'll dive more into with like spoilers, but there was like a lot of things that I thought were relatively unique, even if not executed the best. So I thought a 4 was reasonable because there really would have only been a couple of things needed to tweak in order to make it like a 5, which is a medium ground, found footage movie. So anyway, that's why.
Yeah, I think, I really did see the passion there similarly in this movie. I wish that they picked some specific directions to go in and then made it clear which direction they were going.
Yes.
Because I wasn't really sure at the end or even while watching it how necessarily all the pieces fit together and connected.
I agree.
I also think, just generally speaking, without giving a lot away, I think this movie could have really benefited from a lot of editing, and it was a short movie, but there were like certain moments and scenes that went on and on and on and didn't necessarily add anything to the movie. I have all those in my brain. I could share what those are once we get to the spoilery part of this, but just like some serious editing and things that were in this that aren't typically in found footage movies. But I would say one positive is that it really did feel like a real small film crew putting something together, going out into the woods, and it did have that feel, partially because it really was probably a very small film crew. And then it was just edited in a way that almost felt like it wasn't edited. It was just sort of the footage, kind of raw, which some people would look at as like a positive. But then there was just stuff I didn't think needed to be in there.
Well, and then speaking on the editing, and then there were a whole bunch of edited parts, like sped up with really loud music, and I hate that's a found footage no. Like,
and so sometimes when I say when I'm saying editing, I mean stuff like literally didn't need to be in the movie,
and like could have been taken out.
Yeah, like there were a lot of like instrumental montages.
Yes.
Right. That
fast forwards or speed ups or whatever you want to call them, slow motion. There's quite a few
motion. I'm gonna say some more, but that kind of thing.
But no, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready to jump into spoilers?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. So, what are your first unspoiled thoughts?
Oh, my first spoiled thoughts. Oh yeah,
that's what I meant. What did I say? Unspoiled. I meant
unspoiled. We did.
The bug is like nestling in the back of my mind. Go ahead.
There's a bug behind her, and it is not going to bother you. I promise. It's not.
You'll know because I will bolt from this room.
She doesn't want all the viewers. Angel doesn't want all the viewers to know that she's afraid of bugs. So I'm telling everyone.
Flying bugs.
She's cutting out. She's going to edit out the scene of her running from the beetle.
I don't know if it's a beetle. What if it's something scarier than a beetle? You don't know.
Like a black widow spider buzzing around.
No, but roaches fly, and those are terrifying.
not gonna hurt
Black
you.
Widow spider. You're such a smart Alec.
If a
Tell
Black
me your
Widow
spoiled
could
thoughts.
fly. Oh, okay, my spoiled thoughts. So first of all, I feel like I said the same thing for the last movie, Mr. Creep.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a paranormal element to this movie, I think, and there was a human element to this film, and there was like other stuff that I don't know how it's so like there were people on their cameras in their homes being killed. Don't know what that was about. There was a surveillance camera picture of a creature or demon that popped up on the screen.
Yeah,
and then
it knocked over a motorcycle.
Yeah, and then we never saw it again for the movie, I don't think.
No.
There was this story about a haunted forest, which is where the main characters were, or the content creators were going into the woods to film an episode of their YouTube show. And so there was this thought that they were going to this haunted area.
Mm-hmm.
There were kidnappers who kidnapped some of the main characters
as a quote unquote prank,
as some sort of a prank. And then there were actual people or ghosts that kidnapped them later on in the movie, or did more than kidnap them. And then the movie was over. And
it's
so
like abruptly ended.
Yeah. And so I didn't know, what was what. That's my number one sort of complaint about the movie is that, I kind of liked that surveillance camera thing where there was that face on the screen, and then we never saw it again. So I didn't know how all of that went along with the people in the woods, or the people who were kidnapping the people in the woods, because that other stuff that I'm referring to at the beginning of the movie didn't even happen in the woods. It was in people's houses. So, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of disjointed and confusing, I thought.
No, I agree. I think some parts of it, like the beginning when we're getting used to like, oh, this is what this person does on their YouTube channel. You're like, oh, okay, cool. And then it's like, yeah, I'm engaged to get married. You're like, all right, cool. Like I got it, And then when they get together after they're married, and I guess this is like their honeymoon, which no.
See, I missed that. Is that what is that what he said?
I'm assuming, because I'm pretty sure the back of the car was decorated like they just got married, right?
I missed that.
When they're in the car and they're listening to music and it's like weird. Yeah.
I didn't know they were married. I thought they were just like, I don't know. That was one of those parts that I thought was odd. And then like in the car, there's a lot of stuff with the car. This really long car trip, and they're like filming animals out the car window, and it went on for like 10 minutes. And when you're talking about a movie that's only like an hour and 20 minutes tops.
Yeah, there's a lot of filler.
And so they're filming like peacocks out the window, and
which was beautiful.
Sure.
But what does that have to do with anything?
Nothing. And then this is such a funny thing that bothered me so much, was that this is what I mean, cutting stuff out, editing. They get to the woods, they park their car, and they're getting out of the car. And there must have been, a good minute or two of them getting out of the car, just filming themselves getting out of the car, and nobody was speaking. And that was another thing. A lot of these moments that were long and drawn out, no dialogue, nobody's saying anything. I think I wrote in my notes, it was almost like there wasn't a script. It was like they filmed a bunch of stuff and then put it together at the end.
After the fact.
Yeah, because it didn't the stuff didn't go together, and then there were these just long moments, which added almost to the real. Because if this was just a group of college kids or group of high school kids filming stuff, there would be a lot of extra footage, right? Used stuff that you just didn't have time to edit out because you got kidnapped in the woods. So I guess that's sort of realistic. Maybe that's what they were going for. But it was tough. There were moments I was just like, come on.
It was very slow moving. And then it felt to me like when something did happen, it just left me feeling confused.
Yep.
Now, okay, so the one thing I did really like, and again, this is something that was such a really unique concept, but wasn't really executed because it kind of felt like it was thrown in out of nowhere, which was our 2 fake kidnappers.
Yep.
Like,
that was interesting.
First of all, in nowhere would I believe that you could do that as a prank and still have a YouTube channel and not be in prison. Like, that's not a thing. But what would have made that stronger is if they had added like a dark web concept, because this reminded me of, there's a horror game. I consider this a horror game called Welcome to the Game. And it's, you play as a hacker and you get into the dark web, and then a bunch of like really bad stuff, like people try to break in, because you're like getting all this stuff you're not supposed to have access to. And I've always thought that stuff is fascinating, like the concept of a dark web and then people watching you knowing you're in the dark web and they come for you. Like, that's really terrifying. And it's very home invasion-y. So I was thinking like that kind of, that's what it reminded me of.
It did. Yep.
And so those parts, I was like, that would have been really cool if they had added that. Like, okay, total retelling, but just kind of go with me for a minute here. If they had made this a story where he was having a failed YouTube channel, okay? And one of the things he notices in patterns is that people who do things with the paranormal or go investigate or go do these things get a lot of views on their stuff. He starts looking up local urban legends, gets into this rabbit hole on the dark web about looking up stuff, goes out, bad stuff happens. On top of it, like, there could have been ways to make that connect with the supernatural elements and the people elements without it being all over the place and making like, and not lining up from a story perspective, because that's what I was thinking in my head would have made that part cooler, because the concept of these 2 people following people into the woods, like all the stuff that guy says.
That was great.
Yeah,
that was good. And I actually liked sort of the storytelling device where, you get the main perspective from the protagonist, and then you sort of go back and retell a lot of the story from the viewpoint of these 2
the other
fake kidnappers, prank kidnappers.
Yes.
And so I actually thought that was like one of the best and most original parts of this movie.
Agreed.
Yeah, it was like a lot of the other stuff that.
Yeah, and how they talked about like what they did as the scamming side of it. Like, the apps they mentioned are real apps. Telegram is the app I use for messaging on my phone. I use that almost exclusively. I don't text. I use Telegram because you can send funny stickers and make groups, and it's cute, right? So you can do all these things. And so that's what I use. So when he said, I've never heard Telegram mentioned anywhere ever. So a lot of people don't even know what that is. And so when he said Telegram, I was like, oh no, I use Telegram. I just thought like that was like a,
But I mean, there was a lot of it was, the movie was beautiful. Like, the location was beautiful. Like, I love that.
No problems there.
This is not, I've never seen a found footage movie set in this sort of place, or this, in anywhere, in the middle of a jungle or anything like that. So I really liked the setting. I thought that the actors were fine. I was more just telling the whole way they told the story was confusing. What elements they chose to keep in, what they didn't edit out, were some of my biggest faults with the film. And I found myself not enjoying the movie because I was confused and trying to figure things out. I don't like to be like, I mean, it's one thing if you're watching like a murder mystery or something, like you're watching, Knives Out or something like that, and that's like the point, you're trying to solve it as you're watching. Typically, that's not what you're doing when you watch found footage.
Well, and we said that with Project Skyquake, that they left too much up to the viewer.
Yeah.
Which is risky business. It's fine to leave some things open, to not give us all the answers, but to leave that much open, to leave that much of us for us to question, like, that just is frustrating as a viewer. I had a hard time paying attention.
Yeah,
like, I kept having to remind myself, like, no, like, you have to like pay attention.
We had similar things we said about Mr. Creep as well. It's like, you don't want the viewer to have to sort of, fill in the gaps. or connect
No,
the dots
it's
in this case. Yeah.
yeah, it's one thing to leave some things up for imagination as far as like what a creature looks like or something like that, but the storytelling part is up to the filmmakers. Like they're supposed to be building a story that we can follow, and this one was very disjointed, and it's unfortunate because I love the concept that, first of all, it was a found footage fan. I love that makes me really happy.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, the locations were great, very real, like no problems with any of that. I didn't even technically have an issue with the acting per se. Like,
No,
I didn't think the acting was a problem. And then it had some really unique concepts that just fell flat execution wise. And it sinks. Like, you know, we always run into this thing where, like, when we don't really like rave about a film, that we always end up running into like the filmmakers. But you know what, I like most of the time, what I would say in all of these cases of movies that we weren't big fans of, or we had problems with, or whatever, is that keep doing it anyway. Like, keep building out like your universe, make more movies, make more found footage movies. Like, you know, you can only learn through doing in that regard. And I think like I think that the eye for it is there. I think it's there. I think it's just going to be a matter of getting thoughts together a little more cohesively before presenting it to an audience.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, because I want to know everything that's in the movie. I want to know what it is. What am I looking at? Why was that there?
The intrigue is there. Yeah.
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 And there were some directions I thought they really could have gone with, or if they weren't going to go with it, they should have left it out. And so, you know what I mean? Like, pick one or explain them all, but you have to do either of those two things. So I'm so glad. I always say this. I'm glad we watched it, though. I'm glad. I want to get as many perspectives. I want to see found footage films from all over the world.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see more and more of that.
I love that. Yeah.
Which I think is great.
And most of the ones that we talk about being the scariest are foreign found footage films. They're not from the States.
I think the best one, I mean, one of the best ones we watched this year was Incantation.
Yeah. Right? By the time this goes out, my top 10 went out today. So Incantation made my top 10 for the year.
Oh, just all movies, not just found footage.
Yeah. All horror. Mm-hmm.
All horror.
Mm-hmm. It was like number 8 or 9 maybe, but it made my top list. So I mean, you know, I think like, yeah, I'm all for these new found footage filmmakers. Like, I'm here for it. We'll continue watching them, keep making them, you know.
Yep. And you know, I think everybody else, real fans of found footage, I hope that you go and make your own opinion of this movie and of all the movies that we talk about. Don't not see a movie. Sometimes I see people in the comments say, I'm not going to see this movie because of what you said. But if I avoided every movie that, you know, I heard someone saying something negative about, I probably wouldn't see very many movies. So I definitely don't avoid this movie because, you know, we gave it lower rate, or I in particular gave this one lower ratings. I think it's still worth getting your own opinion on it.
Yeah. I think I always feel that there's someone that these movies will check a box for, you know. I mean, it's everyone looks for such different things, you know, and I think like this is definitely different. And I mean it, like I sincerely hope that you know, the people who did this one do more. They obviously have a love and respect for the subgenre, and that means a lot to me as a viewer. So definitely keep hopefully they'll keep making stuff and we can watch them.
I believe the creator and the director, I believe his name is Normal Baby. So check out his work, see what else he did. I don't know if he's done anything else or if he plans to do more, but I would definitely check it out if he does. I like to see where he goes next.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Well, that's
what's up next. What's our next movie?
So next week is Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. What are we doing on Friday? Is it a secret? Are we telling anyone what we're doing?
I don't know. Well, wait.
Something big.
We have a very special extended episode of Found Footage Fridays next Friday on the 13th.
A very special Found Footage Fridays. An episode for the whole family. No?
Yeah.
Surely there's got to be someone out there who watches these episodes with their whole family, right? Every Friday night.
We have such a big fan base. I mean,
huge.
Yeah. So yeah, very fun, exciting, special episode of Found Footage Fridays next Friday on the 13th.
Can't wait.
Yeah. And then the week after that, I'll tell you this one. We're covering the 2022 found footage film He's Watching. If you want to watch that before we discuss it, that is also on YouTube. I mean, YouTube, Tubi. Don't listen to me, Tubi.
Yeah, watch it and then see what we have to say about it. You get advance notice. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's all I got for the trail on Tubi. Yeah. Make sure you're sticking around next week. Check out our special episode on the 13th. Probably maybe we'll promote it maybe a couple days before and kind of announce something, but we'll see how it goes. We'll play it by ear. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on this Found Footage Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great week, and we will see you in the next one.
Happy Friday.